Welcome to the Destiny Nerds, episode 32. What is up? I'm Bearded Luke, joined by the Maddox. What's up, bro?
Yes, sir.
How you doing,
brother?
I'm doing...
Your room's looking good.
Thank you. I'm doing a lot better than last week. I feel a lot better. I feel like my COVID's almost gone.
Good.
But
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm chilling.
Not being sick is a good thing.
Yes. But as you can hear, you beautiful people that are listening, we have an awesome guest that was supposed to be here a couple weeks ago, but he was super sick, and we're super happy he's not sick because now we get to have him here. So we would love to welcome the amazing best smile on the internet.
Absolutely.
Cbgray, what's up, bro? How are you doing?
Yo, what's up? I'm good. Like you said, happy that we're both not sick.
Yeah.
Because
For real.
being sick is awful. It just makes you realize just how great health is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for real.
So definitely happy to be
Scary
here.
time to be sick right now too. So
For real, yeah. I mean, you get
That
sick, you automatically think it's like one thing at this point. So
absolutely.
glad
We're
that I
happy.
didn't have it like Luke, but I'm glad you're better, Luke.
Thanks. Same to
I'm
you.
glad you guys are both feeling better, dude.
Isn't that the weird, this has nothing to do with Destiny, like we always start, but isn't it funny that like COVID was so crazy rampant in the world that you just forgot that like you could get sick with
Yeah.
other sicknesses?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have people that ask me because I'm me being a nurse. I have people like some people know that I'm a nurse, so they watch my streams and such, and ask me like, I have this and that and this and that. Some guy had asked me that the other night. I'm like, well, you realize you probably could just have a regular cold or anything like that. But,
Yeah.
No.
I mean, like there's still other things like out there. Like
I mean,
a
I'd be
little
pumped.
cough or-
I'd be pumped if COVID eradicated all diseases and it was there was just COVID somehow, but nope. Our boy got sick, but I'm glad you're feeling better, and we're excited. We're so excited to have you tonight, Maddox. How's your week been, bro?
Tiring. Oh my gosh, this is the longest week of my life, dude. Just being understaffed at a nursing job is not fun, but I'm good, dude. I for a little update on my health, I am happy to be healthy, thank goodness. But I just hit my weight loss goal. I set a goal for 170 pounds, and I just weighed in the other day at 170.
Nice.
And
Congrats.
I'm also the lowest percentage of body fat that I've been at my
Dude,
entire life.
show us your
This is
six-pack
done.
right
Nice.
now.
Yeah, that's not there yet. It's not there yet.
You can
But
trade
I'm
me
happy.
notes.
I'm happy with that. I've been killing it that way. Killing it at the gym and being consistent that way, which is, I'm very proud of myself. So
That's awesome.
Please
bro.
teach me.
Yeah, for real. I can't taste anything, and I'm still just eating cheeseburgers from McDonald's and
I
down in
ate my
Cokes.
first cheeseburger. I rewarded myself with a cheeseburger for the first time in 3 months,
Nice.
and now it was very good.
Was it
That
like
was
a
the-
good
the-
cheeseburger or like a McDonald's
Yeah, it was a
cheeseburger?
Whataburger. I mean, it was like the closest thing I had to me. I was out running errands. I was like, oh, okay, let's go. I'll get a Whataburger, whatever. I also got a chicken tender sandwich as well, too. I pigged out, dude.
Yes.
It was
There you
so
go.
good. It felt good. I was like, okay, this is what it feels like again. And then I went right back to eating grilled chicken.
You're
so.
like, all right. Grilled chicken and broccoli. Called it
Yeah.
And my diet's consisted of Taco Bell and Taco Bell.
Yes, same, bro. Oh my gosh. I'll be going to Taco Bell. I'm like, can I get 7 crunchy tacos? Or like, is that for all for you? Yes, I would get 8, but I'm embarrassed. So I'll take 7.
Bro, I could imagine eating 7 tacos. That's crazy.
It's all right.
I can, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can definitely
He like
imagine it.
pulls them off the desk. I just had 7.
Bro,
Yeah, thinking about
here's all the
that
wrappers.
this weekend. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. All right. Now I'm hungry. This
Yeah.
isn't good.
Heck
Me
yeah.
too.
But CB, dude, how the freak are you, dude? I'm glad you're here. I'm really happy to have you here. I've been watching your streams a lot and your YouTube videos a lot recently, and
Oh, thanks.
now you're here in the virtual flesh.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm happy, like I said, that we're here. I mean, life is good. We're healthy now. We're here on the podcast, like together. We got the new season on Tuesday. Like, heard a lot of good
Yes.
stuff. We got,
Yes.
like,
yes.
it's kind of that time of the year too, where like all the hype is starting to finally start churning again for the next DLC. You kind of get to this point,
Yes.
like right in like late summer, where like last year it was right before, like in Arrivals, like waiting for that Beyond Light reveal, and like then like we got like Vault of Glass and all that stuff announced, and all that hype really built. And I feel like we're right there again, where it's like the time of the year where everybody's getting really excited and jumping on the hype train for like what's to come. So
Absolutely.
it's always kind of my favorite part of the year.
Cool. Well, for those that don't know who you are, we'd love to hear just your spiel. Like, where they can find you, what you do. We were talking a little bit before the podcast about like your job and such like that. Just to, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself, for those that don't know who you are.
Yeah, for sure. Just start off on the Destiny side, like on the, I guess, real life job site first. I guess
You can go real life, and then we'll ask you about your Destiny story.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. So I'm CB, or Christian Potato, like tinfoil man. A lot of different names that people refer to me as, but CB usually is for easiest way of referring to me. I stream on YouTube and Twitch and make Destiny videos and getting to hang out with y'all. In terms of I guess about me, I work as a software developer. So I've been doing that since I graduated college in 2017. So I went to school in Virginia. I'm from Virginia, close to the DC area. Went to a school called James Madison and studied computer information systems and computer science. And then graduated from that and then started working as a software developer in 2018 in March. And have gotten to build some different applications for some different commercial projects, military projects, government contracts, some to name like Bank of America, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and the FDA. So gotten to do some different stuff over the last few years, and that's really the majority of what my life is outside of Destiny. It's very much consumed by the job, so it does get pretty busy around this time of the year because it's usually towards the end of a project period. So a lot of work, kind of like you were describing too, being kind of really going at it right now with work, kind of in that same boat. But yeah, just taking things day to day. I enjoy kind of the process of getting to see applications go from being nothing to at the end of the tunnel being something cool at the end of it. So it's kind of cool to see that process. It's pretty fulfilling. So that's what I do on the work side, and outside of that, I eat a lot of Taco Bell, as I mentioned.
Heck yes.
Because my eat and my sleep patterns aren't very great. So a lot of Taco Bell and not as much exercise as I would love. But maybe Maddox, maybe you can get me back on track.
I'd love the motivation, my friend.
Yeah, but that's pretty much me. I mean, that's on the non-Destiny side, what takes up the majority of my life. If I'm not working, then it's usually Destiny. If it's not that, then it's probably Taco Bell or maybe a few hours of sleep.
There you go.
Do you like Baja?
On the side.
Yeah. Do you like Baja Blast? That's important to know.
I had Baja Blast yesterday.
Good.
There you go. So you work full time, and I mean, I would consider you a full-time content creator as well too. With what you do as well too. So that's got to be.
Yeah, the days are generally, especially when I'm healthy and not completely overwhelmed at work. For the most part of these last 4 years, my life has kind of looked like waking up usually around, especially once things went remote, during COVID, because I haven't been to my office since last February. So everything's pretty much virtual now.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But wake up usually around 7 or a little bit earlier, and then I'm usually working from about 7:30 in the morning to about 7 p.m. And then I stream on YouTube and Twitch. We can kind of, I guess, get into that in a little bit. But so usually we'll stream on YouTube for 3 or 4 hours, usually 7:30 to roughly 11:30 maybe. And then usually we'll jump on Twitch by midnight, streaming there for a few hours, then do some editing while I'm usually eating Taco Bell and doing some work on the side. And then
Taco Bell always finds its way in here.
And then try to be asleep by usually I'd say 4 or 5 at the latest, and get about 2 hours of sleep and repeat the process.
This is why you got sick.
This is why I got sick. Yeah. And the funny thing is I haven't been sick since high school. So me getting sick was it was something that was it hit me like a tank, because I think it was just a buildup of everything that I haven't been taking care of myself, and I definitely that's one of the things I want to start doing a lot better. But over this period while I've been working and doing content creation, there hasn't been a lot of consistency when it comes to sleep and eating, but I'm getting there. Yeah. I'm getting there. But yeah, so the reason why I do it though is because it's really, at least the juggling is Destiny and this community that we have here and the family we have here has I don't know, it's changed my life, and it's such an escape and an outlet out of kind of everything that I got going on in the just in the real world, obviously. And when I kind of started things, and when we get into I guess why we started what we did, wasn't in the best place, and it's really gotten me out of some some times, and it's changed my life in more ways than I could describe. And so it's just something that, you know, when I'm done working, it's what I want. It's that escape. And I love
Absolutely.
it. So yeah, so that's what I do.
Well,
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, what started, like, what made you one day be like what's your gaming story, and then how did that turn into content? Like, what
So my
got you
gaming
there?
story started with like probably these two things.
Heck yeah,
same.
just on the
Yeah,
desk.
absolutely.
Yeah. So like my N64 and then my Game Boy Advance. No, I mean they're always here because I'm always playing them.
Is that
I mean,
gold?
I
Is
have-
that
That's
Pokemon?
awesome.
Is that
Yeah, this
Pokemon
is
Gold version?
Yeah, this is gold, right? This is gold right here.
Heck yes.
Yeah, I was playing Gold like yesterday, and then like Mario 64 is what I actually have on my screen right now. So my gaming did start when I was really young. So I'm almost 27, so I was born in like '94. So the first like consoles, at least that I saw, were the Game Boy Color and the
Same.
and the N64. Yeah, so that's what got me going early, mainly on the Game Boy Advance side of things, like all the Pokemon games. I mean, that was just, it's just so, I don't know, it just changed everything when those were coming out. I mean, obviously. And then on the N64 side, that really got me into a lot of the Nintendo franchises, such as like the Mario side of things. So I fell in love instantly at Mario 64. It's my favorite game of all time. But like there are some other games too, like Smash Bros, Mario Kart, all the different things, Pokemon Stadium, Donkey Kong 64.
Oh yeah.
Like with the DK rap, I still sing that sometimes this day. And so that really got me going and really like inspired a love for gaming and really took me down, honestly, like a Nintendo path where I'd say 95% of my gaming until Destiny was Nintendo. So I love Nintendo to the point where I thought I wanted to be a game developer for Nintendo. So when I first was getting into like a technical background, it wasn't because I thought I wanted to like develop apps, but it was actually because I thought that I was going to go to college for game design and then hopefully go to like get a master's and try to see if I could like navigate into like the gaming development space. Didn't quite go that route, as you guys heard, but that was at least like growing up kind of the route that I thought I might go. The only first person shooter I ever like really touched kind of outside of Nintendo was a little bit of Halo, and then also Modern Warfare 2 a little bit as well. And so I really did, like, out of the two of those, I really did love Halo a lot. And it would sometimes work its way into like my Nintendo kind of lineup of stuff that I'd be playing. And that's what really, I guess, caught my eye then when we got that first E3 trailer for Destiny 1. Because I already knew what she was, and I liked Halo, and I saw that this was like a whole new franchise. It looks like something completely different and new and fresh. And I tried the beta, and then I was hooked. And that's what at least took me to Destiny. That's how I got to Destiny. And then, once I feel like I went through the story and then did my first raid, I was like, hooked. The next thing you know, I blinked 7 years later and we're talking right now, having this conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was at least what, in terms of gaming background, what got me to, I guess, to Destiny, at least personally in terms of gaming.
Right. That's awesome.
Did you start streaming and making videos with Destiny, or was there stuff before that?
So I mean, I did a little like really the first time I ever made a real attempt, was Destiny, and that happened in 2016. So it was right when Taken King had happened. So I was originally in a clan in vanilla Destiny, like Dark Below, House of Wolves, and then Taken King rolled around. Then everybody kind of just disbanded for a little bit, because there was, if you guys remember, there was that really long period of time when there was like Prison Elders. Before then, we got Taken King, and so, but within that time period, once Taken King came out, obviously King's Fall was an amazing raid. It's one of my favorite raids of all time, and I loved it. But I kind of had the dilemma where I didn't have a lot of people to play it with. And so I was kind of at the mercy of like LFG, and it was really hard to just get things done sometimes. And I just really that was the first day I think that I was like, I really think I would wish that I was more like wishing at this point. It wasn't even wanting, but wishing that I had like a community where like we could all like come together, help each other out, and get things done, and be able to, really just have that kind of like family atmosphere where we can just all like kind of lean on each other. So that kind of turned into eventually like come the end of King's Fall, still a little bit before Rise of Iron, but still during Taken King, me deciding at first, I was like, let me try Twitch. And I tried streaming a few times, and nothing happened. Back in 2016, and this might even have been the end of 2015, Twitch was it was not a lot of discoverability. It was really tough at the time, and it's still really tough now. But Twitch has made some strides in terms of their recommended. But back then, yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe this isn't how I'm supposed to get started. Maybe I can try making YouTube videos. I had done some very basic editing before when I was a little younger, because I had a laptop and would make other type of stuff, but it was very basic stuff. So I had no real editing experience, but I was like, maybe I can make helpful videos. Maybe if I'm not supposed to be streaming to help people out, maybe I can help with guides or any other videos that might be useful for the community. So I started making videos in 2016, and nothing was really happening for the first full year, and like no one was really watching, which is okay. And then I just happened to make a video right when Rise of Iron came out, and it happened to it reached like almost like 250,000 people when I had 7 subscribers. And next thing you know, like we had like we gained a little bit of a base, and like made some really good friends from that. And kind of kept pushing from there. And then in 2016, I got an email from YouTube saying that YouTube streaming was going into beta. And so I was like, that's interesting. Like I thought that, Twitch was the only streaming platform. So I was like, well, maybe I'll, give YouTube streaming a try. Like, since now I've gotten like my feet under me a little bit on YouTube, maybe I'll give YouTube streaming a shot. And so I'm so glad I did, because I did a few streams that at the end of 2016, and then when I had my summer vacation from college, the last one before I graduated in 2017, started streaming consistently on YouTube, and things slowly but surely started to kind of come into their own. And then when I graduated and I got my full-time job as a software developer, saved up some money, I bought a PC, because before I was using my college laptop and a small little TV that I used to have in my room. I didn't have any monitors or anything. Like, all my money was going to books, tuition, apartment, food. Like, y'all know how that goes. So yeah, it's like all of those things. And like, so no money for the streaming up to that point. So when I did have some money to finally, I'd say, invest into the streaming thing, that's when I went for it. I bought a PC, bought a few other things, and then things slowly but surely turned into what they are now. We started streaming every single day, and I started doing help streams every day where we'd help with, at first it was mainly just like Nightfalls and strike weapon type stuff, because that was during like the Warmind era. But then it turned into like raids and other activities, and we just kind of started building the family that we have. And yeah, that's really, I'd say, how the story went.
That's awesome.
I love it.
I love how just persistent you were with it. You never gave up, and now look where you are now.
Yeah.
Imagine if you never took that YouTube streaming, imagine if you never even started that.
And sometimes I think about it, my life would just be totally different, and
I can only
definitely
imagine.
not for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
you so much better mentally. Because the people like that.
Yeah, because and we haven't talked with anyone so you've met a lot of friends, and it sounds like you've also met a lot of content creator friends. I mean, we saw you guys having fun in Florida for that trip. Yeah. What was that like? Was that sweet to be able to see a bunch of
so that was really cool. So it was funny. So I had so the only person I had met on that trip prior to that, because you're right, yeah, like that is one of the things that was cool too, is to start getting to meet other people doing similar stuff. The first person that I really ever met, like from content creation, was Swetsicle, who's like one of my really, really close friends. We met during Warmind back in 2018. And I met him at GuardianCon. I went to GuardianCon in 2019, the year before COVID. And that was like the first time, like not even just meeting him, but like meeting a lot of creators. Like it was like a whole new, like kind of like, just like, I don't know. It's just like, it was just a different experience. It was really cool to get to meet some of like the faces that you see online. Like it'd be the equivalent of is like of us meeting in Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's just very cool because like it's one thing, it's awesome to like speak to each other right now on like this podcast or like on stream or in Discord or like in a VC or like whatever, like, you know, but like it was really, really cool to get to have that meetup at GuardianCon. And I think that next year when COVID's done, I think that's going to be a really cool experience again for
Absolutely.
creators to get to have a. But what that did was allow like you to just branch out and meet so many new people. And a lot of those friendships that you make, I mean, they really like, I mean, they're real and they last like, you know, forever. And it was really cool. So that turned into, then I ended up, before that trip, I also went and visited Sweat up in North Dakota, where he's from, and so that was really cool. And then we decided that trip you saw in Florida, we decided to, you know, maybe like just have a little, let's just take a second to get away for a moment in Florida and just have, you know, some creators that want to go come to Florida and let's just you know, just have a good time and like just not think about some of like, you know, the other stuff that's going on. Especially, you know, after like the long like year that 2020 was. So yeah, it was very nice to just kind of get to hang out and get to talk Destiny, but then also get to talk just some real life stuff too. Kind of like the way we do too. Like we're just talking about, you know, like other stuff that's not even work, whether it's Taco Bell or work
Yeah.
or whatever the case. Like, you know, that it's pretty cool to get to meet people and talk to them more and see what they're like outside of Destiny too.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I'd say that was like a pretty life-changing experience. GuardianCon was.
Dude, I
I'm
was
excited
at
to go
that.
to my first one.
Yeah, he's going. I was at that one that year. I was
Were
at
you?
2019, but I hadn't started streaming. I only watched Goth. That was the only person I knew that streamed
I
on
love
Twitch.
golf. Did you meet him?
I
when
did.
you were there?
I did. I
Me
met
too.
him and
Me
took a
too.
picture
Yeah.
because you know how they like kind of would go to the lobby and you could go like go
Yeah.
up and talk to him for a little bit. At specific,
Yeah.
It's kind of like he was Mickey Mouse or something. You know, I want to get my little things.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm pumped for this next year because like just like Maddox said, it's his first, and I'm pumped because I
Dude, my
started
first
streaming.
ever gaming convention ever.
Oh,
I've never even been to one before.
It's gonna
so.
be amazing. I'm pumped because like I started streaming and doing content and do any of this. Like I wouldn't know any of you guys. Like we wouldn't be doing this right now if I didn't go to GuardianCon and just decide. I came up with my name, Bearded Luke, at GuardianCon. I'm sitting in the hotel because I'm seeing all these people meeting and I'm like, this is so cool. Like all these people are like friends and they all know each other and they like have these communities. I'm like, I'm gonna make that happen somehow. I want to like next time I come to this, like have friends that I know from the internet. So I'm like Bearded Luke. I came up with my name and I made my Twitch account in the hotel room and then
I like the name.
thanks, I appreciate it. It's pretty just you know self-explanatory.
It's fitting.
But I can't wait for the next one. Actually, Maddox, you don't know this yet, but I got a person to film the wedding that I'm supposed to film that
Let's
weekend.
go.
I just haven't told the couple yet, so hopefully they don't
dang.
kill me. But I have a wedding that weekend, so I because we booked so far in advance, and I didn't know when this new one was gonna be. But so you're gonna be at the next one? I know Maddox is gonna be there. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we're all gonna have to.
It's not
three-way.
far from me at all. So
We're in a three-way.
Wait, so
hug.
where are you guys from? I see the Ryan jersey, so I'm assuming Georgia.
my family's from Georgia.
Okay,
I'm a
so
big
is
Atlanta
mine.
Falcons fan, but I'm in Florida. I'm in North Florida.
Okay, what part of Georgia is your family from? Because my family's from Georgia too.
There's a really small town called Sylvester.
Gotcha. My family's from Augusta.
Okay. Yeah, but I go to Atlanta 2 or 3 times a year. I
Nice.
love it.
Yeah, got a lot of family in Atlanta as well. Nice.
I love
yeah.
it.
What about you, Luke? Where are you from?
I live in Columbus, Ohio, born and
nice.
raised, right in the middle. I love Ohio.
Lucky.
I'm a Columbus boy. Maddox
Nice.
came down and surprised me last was it December or January? When was that?
February.
February.
Sorry.
He came and surprised me, and we hung out for a few days. But I'm pumped because I'm coming to November. Or I'm coming to Florida in November to see Reagan and Maddox. Me and my wife are gonna go hang out with them for the week. I'm pumped about it. Oh,
I cannot wait.
I can't wait, bro. It's coming soon. Like we only have a few more months. But
That's exciting.
well, all right. You guys ready to talk about some Destiny? I could sit
Dude,
here like I
I've
legit.
never been more hyped to talk about Destiny than I am right now. Honestly.
I'm excited too,
Like-
and I haven't even been playing. So
Well, let's just start off with your thoughts so far, Luke. Let's start with you because you've seen all the TWABs. We have the leaks, I guess, coming out. But I haven't seen anything. Goodness, I stay away from that stuff. But then we also have, of course, the reveal of Witch Queen on the 24th. Thoughts? What are you excited about, Luke?
just in general for everything.
kind of just overall. Yeah.
Well, they officially said the next season is named because they officially said on Twitter because it leaked the day before. But Season of the Lost, right? That's what it's called. Which I feel like we've had a Season of Lost, but we haven't. It's because it's or have we had a Season of the Lost? That sounds like a familiar
It's
name.
Festival
to
of
me.
the Lost.
Festival of the
We
Lost.
have Festival of the Lost.
That's what had my. I was like, hasn't there
Yeah.
already been a Season of the Lost? But no, just in general, I'm unbelievably excited for the weapon changes, the weapons coming, the like trials changes that we don't know about yet. There's like a million trillion little small things like we've talked about every week. It's like the season of quality next season, which I hope it really
And
is.
I almost think we spoke that into fruition as well too, because we were always like the past like 4 or 5 episodes we've talked about like we want to see things getting fixed going into like especially going into Witch Queen. Like, but they're doing that shit early. Like season 15, like I was talking before the podcast, you go over from season 14, the reset hits, and it's going to be a completely different game. I mean, for the better, if you ask me. There's a lot of things that people are like, meh, that's not going to be any better. They literally have an anti-cheat coming, which is, by the way,
that was
well,
huge
too.
this week too.
Like that's massive.
Finally,
You have all these weapons being changed. You have all these weapons coming back. You have, a bunch of different things. You have the queen of the Awoken, like literally
right before the Witch Queen.
Yeah, like I think what I'm most excited about is the queen and that storyline. We were talking about this a little bit. We try to save all the content in this questions for the actual podcast when we get a little too excited. But that was my favorite storyline was like the Forsaken storyline and then the queen disappearing and now coming back, seeing all the stuff that Osiris is getting up to, and then the Lakshmi, all that stuff. Like, I'm not big into lore, but like this storyline is really intriguing me. I mean, all I do is play PvP. Like, I'm excited to hop on Tuesday and listen to the storylines and the dialogue. I won't skip a cutscene. So.
Oh, same.
What about you, CB? What are you excited? You literally create content on this game. So
I mean, a lot of the things you touched on are things that I'm pretty excited about. One of the things that I was really, really praying for was that this season had a focus on the Dreaming City, kind of for 2 reasons. One, because of kind of what you mentioned, how amazing Forsaken was, and I loved Forsaken's story, and it was awesome.
Absolutely.
But it did leave some, I'd say, open-ended things that I think we're still waiting to have closed. Like I think a lot of us have really been waiting for a resolution to, or even just like maybe if it's not a resolution, like maybe we can just call it a continuation, just a continuation of where things kind of left off, and so that we can kind of get the closure we need from that story. And so I'm really excited to kind of pick that up. Also because of in Season of the Hunt, if you remember them, like there was a big focus on Sivu Arath, Savathun's sister, and things have been kind of tight-lipped on that the last like about season and a half, and I'm excited to see hopefully them pick up on some of the things they brought up earlier in the year, so we can kind of have like cohesiveness to some of the things that they've been building. But then also at the same time, I'm really excited for this to be like the alley-oop that Witch Queen is going to slam. So I'm really looking forward to this being what sets up Witch Queen. Like from a story perspective, I'm very excited. Like obviously we haven't seen anything yet outside of Mara, but in general, this is definitely like where I was praying the season was going to go. So that I'm really, really hyped for, and I love the Dreaming City, so I'm hoping that we get new fun stuff to do there. Hopefully, that'd be really, really cool. Outside of that, I mean, the things you mentioned, I think are going to be really good for the game as well. Obviously, the anti-cheat's something that people like we've been like Absolutely. That's just needed. It's just so needed. So like that, Agreed. Really, really excited for. Another thing that I'm not gonna say it gets glossed over, but one thing that's just gonna be really, really helpful for at least what I do. I know it's gonna be helpful for everybody, but it's crossplay. But I know a lot of people are really excited.
I forgot that's literally happening.
That's huge.
So a lot of people are excited to play with their friends, which is awesome. And another thing that I'm really excited for is one of the things that's really, really tough about, or not tough, but it just makes it a little bit more. Like there's just an extra layer of effort is I stream on PS4, Xbox, and PC. I rotate every single day. Right. And that's because personally I want to be able to play with as many people as possible, and I don't want to, especially back at the beginning days of my stream, I only had a PlayStation, and so I was doing help streams on PlayStation, but I felt like I was missing out on a lot of people who I felt bad I couldn't play with just because at the time it's the only console I had. So to accommodate for that, I bought an Xbox. Obviously, I started playing on PC as well. But I'm very excited to just have it be no matter if you're playing on Xbox, PS4, PS5, the new Xbox, PC, Stadia, heck, like Game Boy. No matter what you're playing on, you can literally like we can jump into each other's fire teams, and it alleviates the barrier to being able to game with people. So that's something that I mean. Cross save was awesome when it came out, and I was super happy for that because at the time I was managing 3 individual accounts, and that was a huge milestone, like for Destiny to break that gap. But this is the real like one that I think that I mean personally for me, I've been waiting for since I've started content creation. So I'm very, very excited for crossplay. Guido's just helped me on DS. I got you, Guido. You know I got it.
He has a DS there too.
I saw Guido. I had to for you, Guido. One Volta glass on DS, Guido. Just let me know when. But yeah. So that's another thing that I'm very, very excited for. Is crossplay. Outside of that, I mean, the weapons coming back, I'm really hyped for. It's funny, you guys mentioned that you kind of called some of the changes that were coming. It was funny, I kind of had an experience like that too, whereas I made a video over a year ago, like asking Bungie to bring back the Trials of the Nine weapons alongside with everything else to boost and beef up the world pool of weapons to kind of just have there be more stuff to grind. And so I was very, very happy to see that in the TWUB. That's something that I'm really excited to have in Prophecy, because I feel like Prophecy, outside of the pinnacle you get at the end of it, was starting to not lose its flair. I don't want to say flair's the right word, because the dungeon's a great dungeon, but it was starting to lose its like incentive once you were max power. There wasn't anything that was rewarding enough to get you back in there.
I can agree with that.
That's going to get somebody back in there, and I'm excited for that.
What's really important about those weapons as well too, I think a lot of people missed out on them.
Yes.
You see a lot of people, they are really hard to get. Trials of the Nine was a real, you had not only Trials of Osiris, you need 3 people as a fire team. Trials of the Nine, you needed 4.
Yeah.
So that made it even harder to get a fire team. You had to go flawless for all these god tier weapons and such like that. Like, it was really hard to get. Me myself, being a PvP player, never went flawless in Trials of the Nine.
I had one.
Yeah.
I had one Emperor's Respite.
I had one time that I like literally had one more win and I would win, but I didn't. I was so mad about it too, bro.
It was hard. I was on PS4 and I didn't have the greatest group of gamers that were playing with me, and we tried our little butts off, but never went flawless. So I was really happy to see that, because now not only is Prophecy farmable as well too, so you can just literally non-stop do Prophecy for all these weapons and stuff like that.
So did they say the Trials of the Nine weapons are farmable though? Do we know if we're going to be able to get a shot at those multiple times per character a week? I still was under the impression that I thought we might get one shot on each character. So maybe like 3 attempts at it a week. But if they were farmable, that'd be even cooler. But I don't know if they're doing that. I just couldn't remember.
They say they will drop from certain encounters of Prophecy Dungeon. Doesn't say anything about them being farmable or not. So all I know is that you can farm the boss and get the drop at the end. I know that. I know the final chest for sure is farmable. But whether they drop from that, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. No, either way, it's exciting.
Yeah, and they just look so good, man.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They just look so
good. I hope
honestly.
they're powerful.
I hope they're not. I hope they don't let us down. I will agree with that. Yes, I hope that they are what they used to be in all their glory before any of them got really touched by anything like the old Prosecutor. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the Prosecutor coming back. It's the other auto rifle that we discovered. But then the hand cannon as well too. We're getting another 140 hand cannon, which are really strong at the moment. Yep. And I think will continue to be strong in the next season. We had another one that I never got to use, the Judgment. So I'm really excited to see those happen. And more guns to go after. We all know that the loot in this game is what we're all chasing. You go in to do this, you want this certain gun, you want this certain role, and if you don't get it, guess what? You're gonna do that activity all over again until you get it. That's what Destiny is to me. So I'm just excited to see all these things. It literally screenshots of all the weapons and stuff like that coming back. So I'm really excited to see all those, even if they are returning. I truly don't care. So And we all know we're
there's
going
a
to get
lot.
new weapons as well too. So
There's a lot of stuff coming. I mean, the thing that kind of stinks is it's not a bunch of new weapons coming back, but
Yeah.
it is a lot of things to get in the game are coming back during a season when we're not really supposed to get new stuff. So
exactly.
I think
yeah.
it's going to hopefully, I think from the amount of stuff we've seen for next season, which is going to have to be a super long season or maybe.
It is. It's going to be like 6 months.
Yeah. So like,
It's gonna be like the longest season ever.
I have a question. I have a question as well too after that. So go ahead.
they're just going to need to figure out, I think they're trying to figure out how to fulfill us for 6 months because it's going to be a little bit of a, I mean, it's not gonna be a drought. I'm sure there's gonna be content, but it's gonna be like a roller coaster. Honestly, it's gonna be like really cool, and we're gonna be going, and then it's gonna be like, oh dang, there's like a really big dip, but then we're all gonna get really hyped because Witch Queen's gonna come out, and then we'll be back up on top. But
Yes.
I think
we'll
it'll
be talking about like we are now.
yes, I'm really excited, but I also like, I'm like excited. It's hard to explain how I feel about this because I'm excited, but I'm also like about to be in my off season for weddings during this next season of the game. So I'm like, dang it, I wish there was a lot of stuff to do because I'm trying to play this game like as much as possible. Maybe some other games will come out in the process of us waiting.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But
What was your
my
question?
question for you, for really all of us, is we mentioned that this next season is going to be a long one, and we're going to need stuff. Bungie knows that we get through their content pretty quickly, you know, and in a rather fast pace. So do you see anything coming out mid-season, CB? Like maybe a new dungeon? Like people are talking about maybe Crota comes back as a dungeon or something like that. Do you see
That's a
something
great
like that
question.
coming in
So,
mid-season to keep us?
great question. So to answer it, like I kind of want to go back to like Beyond Light and Season of Arrivals to kind of like make a point. But like, so we all remember that Beyond Light 2 was also delayed partially because of COVID. Obviously not as long as Witch Queen, but Arrivals was, I think, the second longest season ever. Like, and this is going to be obviously even longer because they're delaying it not just to the end of this year, but obviously to spring of next year. But to mitigate that additional time, Bungie put in obviously Prophecy in Arrivals, which was super well received. I mean, I think like 99% of all the feedback I saw from Prophecy was amazingly positive.
Agreed.
And everybody seemed to love it. It was fun, and it's because it was fun. It was beautiful. It was kind of a little more fast paced. It was a really well done dungeon, and it was beautiful. I mean, like the sparrow racing part, there was just amazing effort that went into that dungeon. I think it was a massive success. But then we kind of jumped into Beyond Light, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I mean, it just depends, I guess, what side of the spectrum people were on. But there obviously are people who really enjoyed Beyond Light, but there were a lot of people that also thought Beyond Light was kind of lacking, kind of more closer to like a Shadowkeep than closer to our Forsaken. Like, let's say, like definitely more leaning towards the Shadowkeep side than the Forsaken side of being like, I guess, like an absolute banger. And what sometimes the feedback that I would hear would be that it just didn't have, I guess, outside of the story as much like, I guess, other stuff to keep people going. Like, where was the content outside of that? It's after like the kind of 1 to 2 week honeymoon period and Beyond Light, people start to seem kind of not as receptive to it. I wonder how, like, if that talk would have went away if Prophecy was just in Beyond Light, just like Shattered Throne was in Forsaken, and just like Pit of Heresy was in Shadowkeep. And so the thing that I'm just like worried about is like throwing a dungeon into a season if it's at the expense of a big DLC not getting a dungeon. And so I could see them, yes, throwing in a dungeon. Yes, I definitely can see it because they just did it last year. But do I want it? I'm on the fence.
On the fence. Okay.
Because I think it could definitely extend the grind in the season and be great, but it could also potentially hurt Witch Queen.
Okay, so follow-up question. We get a dungeon, but then in Witch Queen we get a new raid, which I think is going to be the schmoove. Am I wrong? Like,
well, yeah, I think we'll get a raid.
Think so.
I think that's a given, I'm sure. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I just think that like that's 6 months. Like I was saying, we blow through their content pretty quickly, and we get to that point with that lull period, which we were just in, of course, you know, before the hype starts to build up. And I would say that lull period probably comes around the 2 to 3 month period of being in a season. You know, you got that like maybe 30 days left. You know, we had a little counter on our season pass, and And people are like, well, what is there to do now? You know, you have your season. They've added the weekly seasonal challenges and stuff, which people have kept up with. I think you get an emblem and such at the end when you do so many. But then you also have the seasonal content, which progresses each week, like Expunge has. I'm really hoping that there's something similar to that, where the story progresses and we just had the epilogue.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff happening each week. We see at recess, you see people hopping on like, oh my god, this cutscene. Oh my god, this just happened, and or this thing just unloaded. Go to the Tangled Shore and do this and that, and something opens up and it's a huge thing that pops up. Something that's almost a little bit more secretive, I guess you could say. Kind of like how what is it, the Whisper mission and Zero Hour.
Get one of those back.
So you think about 0 Hour and you think about the Whisper missions, how they were secretive. What if something like that were to come about?
Now those I would love. So that's a great point. So personally, I think my perfect world. It's funny. Like I really resonate with the Whisper and 0 Hour missions because those were majority of that's what I streamed every day was helping with those. So between the two of those, I did about 900 runs between the two of those.
Whoa. Okay.
But yes, I love those missions. So I'm glad you brought them up. But yeah, sure. That is what I would love to see this coming season. Would be some type of secret mission. I get that we've had things like Harbinger and we've had obviously the mission in Presage, but they're slightly different. They're definitely well done. They've been especially Presage, I thought was an amazing activity, but it still feels slightly different than Whisper and 0 Hour. And I would love something along the lines of what you're referring to in this coming season. And then personally, I think that I'd rather just see a Witch Queen themed dungeon if it was me. If I had a dungeon in this coming season of The Lost, which meant that I'd lose a dungeon in Witch Queen, I think I would say, let me just fend for myself for these 6 months and then give us the banger in 2020.
Let Witch Queen be Witch Queen.
That was me, I think.
No, I can totally agree with that because Witch Queen, if you think of it in reality, Witch Queen's the paid. It's the $60 banger that's supposed to happen at once a year. Kind of like how Beyond Light was. So, if you're giving us the question, do you want all the content to trickle out until Witch Queen, or do you want it to be in Witch Queen and be badass? I'll wait. I'll be. Yeah. We've waited long enough, so I'll wait for the good. I feel that I haven't heard people with that kind of opinion recently as well too. People are like, no, I want it now. I want it now. Give us this and that, this and that. I feel like there's gonna be some returning content. To kind of keep us roped in, hey, we're still here. I know you guys are waiting.
And recency bias is a real thing. So when Prophecy was happening in Season of Arrivals, we were all jumping up and down and it was awesome and everybody was loving it. But then the second that there was the content started drying up and Beyond Light, it wasn't thinking back to, oh yeah, we got Prophecy back in Season of Arrivals. It was just Beyond Light with no content. Yeah. So and then that really, I feel hurts the game when our big expansion for the year isn't an absolute banger, because usually it's okay, the game's not in that great of a point, but Taken King is coming, and Taken King blew everything away, and it's okay, this isn't in a great point, but then Forsaken comes and blows everybody's socks off. So I feel these big once a year expansions are really important for the health of Destiny. So I just really want them to go off well.
Agreed. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I can't say it anymore. So
I love that though. I'm in that same realm. I'm pumped for this next season. I'm gonna play, but just make Witch Queen insane, and I'm cool.
Make it worth our wait. You pushed it off till literally. They've never done this before. We all know that if anybody plays Destiny, they know it's normally September. Yeah. And then recently through through all the shortcomings and such with the world, it's bumped it back to October, then November, and now from November back to January, February.
Yep.
That's never happened.
Not even an actual.
This is the first year 2021 of no
no big expansion. Yeah. So that's massive. So you would think that this is gonna be huge. For people that are creating content, for people that are just coming back to the game to enjoy it again.
Yep.
It's gonna be there, man. I am so excited for it. I'm not only am I excited for Witch Queen, but I'm excited for this new season coming up as well too. Because on the 24th we get a showcase of the Witch Queen. That's our first time we've ever get to see anything about it.
Next week, if you're listening to this right now, it's happening next week. If you're
Tuesday at
and now as of next week, really 2 days from now.
2 days.
It's gonna be here very soon.
Do you think we'll get to know? Let's talk about that. Do you guys think
absolutely.
Do you think we're gonna learn when it's actually getting launched? on Tuesday?
So I would say
release
so.
date.
I think that because I think I have to go back and check. Somebody fact check me if I said the wrong thing. I thought that we got the date of Beyond Light during that. I think we knew the time when they did the Beyond Light showcase. So I think be expecting the date for Witch Queen, and then I'm thinking obviously they'll show whatever's in Witch Queen, and then maybe the way they teased the Vault of Glass, maybe they'll tease another raid. Maybe that's returning. Maybe like they did. You never know. We'll see. But I'm excited.
I can't hold back my excitement. But it's so the 24th. I don't think they maybe not give us a date, but I think they'll give us like a for sure month. You know, like January 2022 or something like that, or if it's gonna be coming out in February. Yeah. I don't think they might give us a date just yet, because that's 6 months down the road. You know, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know, we're just in August at the moment, so I think if anything, they might just confirm maybe what month it's in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is definitely coming in January. Just give us a second. We'll let you know when. You know. So, but I'd really like to see. I love watching the breakdowns of the big trailers when they like on YouTube. People like frame by frame, like look at all the things in the backgrounds and stuff like that. And because you notice all these things, like someone's like data mining this weapon on Guardian's back that was like there for like a split second, you know, or like what is that weapon? Who is that in the background? Oh my gosh, this gun was just did the exploding thing. Like it's just you come up with all these ideas of what's coming out, and then when it hits, it's just like, oh my god, who knew that was going to happen, you know? I still keep on going back to the queen herself, because I'm just so involved in that story that I'm curious, where do you guys see that storyline going? Do you have any predictions of maybe and again, I'm not a lore person, so there might be already something out there that has been exposed that I'm just not aware of, but where do you see the witch queen, or the queen of the Wilkin, where do you see that story going to? Maybe just in the season 15 before we get to Witch Queen.
I think it's interesting that she's back now, because when she originally left was during Taken King, whenever
Forsaken. Yeah.
Well,
was it No, yes, that's right. So you had that's right. Go
like
all the way back to Taken King.
There's the big battle
when she fought orcs. Yeah. Okay.
And she disappeared. Aldrin disappeared,
that.
and like they were gone for a while. So this will be like her first like public return, you know, other than like being in the other realm. So like I wonder why that if that correlates somehow to the lore of like what's going on with the Taken on the Taken side of it, because it's ever since the Taken side of the storyline came in, she kind of disappeared. But I don't know. I literally have no clue what could possibly, like, I don't know what she's about to be doing. If I'm being, I mean, I'm assuming it's not going to be anything crazy during the season. It's kind of going to be, I think she's going to be like a placeholder that's going to lead us into Witch Queen, and she's gonna maybe have a big role inside of Witch Queen, because she's also a queen, so maybe it's like a queen versus queen. I have no clue. I'm just excited to figure out. I'm wondering if they're gonna do a trailer on Tuesday that has something to do with the season of the Lost and Witch Queen, but I don't know. What do you think? CB?
That's a great question. So there's a couple of different routes that at least that I hope it potentially goes. I mean, I'm hoping either Mara comes and will kind of help us with Xivu or Roth. I just hope that we don't just have her just be a big focal in season 100 and she just is forgotten about. I mean, Savathun's sister. So, I mean, so if I just want to know more about, like, I just have a hard time believing that, you know, she's just taking a nap somewhere and that she's not like that we're not like that story is not progressing. Like, you know, it's like she was very involved and now it's like she's taking a break from being involved. So I'm just wondering what's going on with her. So maybe Mara has something to do with like where that story's going, or if not, uncovering whatever weirdness Savathun is up to right now, and whether that has something to do with, like, obviously everybody's really been hyping up the Osiris thing. So I mean, it could be. I mean, we saw it in the end of the trailer for the epilogue day that Osiris kind of walked out at the end of that trailer. So maybe, you know, he walks out. Now Mara's coming in, and maybe Mara's gonna help us to uncover whatever is going on and whatever weird strings she's pulling. I think that she's coming now to like warn us of what's to come, basically, which is obviously 6 months from now. And I don't know if that means Savathun about to crack down or if Xivu's coming to do something, but something. I think she's coming because something bad is about to happen.
yeah, some type of intel that we need to know of. I'm curious if the Crow comes back, because the Crow showed up and now he's just, what the hell are you doing? You know, he's just sitting in the helm.
Yeah.
I'm curious if somehow he might get some form of recollection of what happened to him, you know, instead of just being some masked man that is now, you know, whoever. Because he had him talking with Osiris and stuff like that. So he's in that kind of, you know, bundle of people that, like, okay, he could have something going on here as well too.
That would be
know?
pretty cool.
And he technically
awesome.
won't know his sister, right? Because when Guardians come back, they don't remember anything.
Oh yeah.
Technically wouldn't, but he might have some sort of like.
And so I'm
want
curious
to learn about what he was. Maybe.
Yeah.
It would be cool for him to have a face to face.
That'd be interesting. I almost feel like that's gonna happen.
Oh,
you
it
know,
has
like,
to,
that'd be
dude.
pretty cool. That would be
because
pretty
with how he was involved with Osiris when he came back, of course, being in the helm and everything like that. But then now you had the whole screenshot of Marasov like looking away from Osiris. But
yeah.
You mentioned the Xivu Arath, the Savathun's sister. I'm curious if maybe that's what the Witch Queen might be about. Is we take out her sister, and then here comes Savathun, like, holy shit, you just took out my sister, I'm ready to kick your ass type stuff, you know, like. And I hope she does.
See that I would like that, but I'd be scared that they would like have us kill Xivu. If like all that was in Witch Queen, if Xivu Arath was in a dungeon, that'd be amazing. But if Xivu Arath dies in like a strike like Zol, or like, like then I'm gonna be very disappointed. Like just like killing a worm god. Even though obviously then we had the kind of the closure to that in the Whisper of the Worm mission, and then same thing with Nokris. Like when we thought he died, obviously then we had the whole kind of Court of Orcs type spinoff with Arrivals. But in general, I just want them to make sure when it's people on that magnitude that they do those characters right. So
they don't disrespect him with just being a strike.
That's the hope. Yeah, that's my hope.
That'd be interesting though. Like you say the mid-season thing. What if it is a completely new dungeon where Xivu Arath is the final thing? And
that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool.
I would love that.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting because then that just progresses the story into Witch Queen, where Savathun hopefully comes in and wipes us freaking clean. That's what I was. We were talking about this as well too, and we'll get your thoughts on Witch Queen in just a moment. But I just want to see everything progress again, like I was saying, weekly, where something's happening. There's a cutscene, there's something new, whether it's just the character development, kind of like what we had over the past season. I don't really know who the hell Lakshmi was until this past season. Like, I knew she was the future Workhole. I went and spent my coins and stuff like that, got the guns, and that's all I knew about it. But now, like, knowing all these backstories and like just what she's been doing, and then you got Same 14 as well too, Osiris getting involved, and then I'm really hoping that the Crow kind of makes his way into there as well too. So again, I'm not a big lore person, but this stuff has just been really interesting to see it, all these little weird backstories that I didn't know had all these connections. You know, and I hope they continue to connect. I hope we literally just start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and then bam, there's Savathun, you know. So I'm just always curious, and then there's PvP content as well too. So
which I'm excited for, even as like a more PvE type guy. Like, I understand the importance of PvP. Like this game, like, I mean, there's so many times in D1 where, like, I mean, I know like it's easy to like marvel at all the amazing things in D1, and obviously like I'm kind of the same way. I love D1, and there are so many things that were just perfect and amazing about it, but there were a lot of droughts and dry spells, and the thing that carried Destiny a lot during those periods was always Trials. It was carrying the directory. It was like, I mean, there were so many times when we had dry spells that it's like you get all your PvE stuff, and you know that's usually the banger right at the beginning, and then your slow periods, PvP is usually carrying you through those. At least back in D1, that's how it went.
I agree.
So
I agree. I get your thoughts on PvP with the anti-cheat and stuff coming out. Will you see yourself playing a little bit more of a PvP, like maybe on the weekends with the trials and stuff coming? With it being reworked, like they're saying.
Yeah, I'm excited for the rework because, I mean, having like multiple consoles, like having the cheating issue be a thing, like just meant that I would go down and just play console, even though I'd love to like be able to play PC more and not have to worry about the cheating. For me, it was still more about them just getting the I think the incentives right, and partly I think that'll come with not having people worry about the cheating issue, because I think the biggest thing right now is just the player base in the trials population is just so low that it just makes it very unattractive to new players. Because I mean, outside of getting your 3-win bounty, which has been an awesome change, though. I mean, to get people in there to get their bounty and get their 3-win. Outside of that, it's still, I feel like, not as welcoming as it could be to newer players. Which I think once they rework it and some of the things they were describing, if they can get people in and have it more of a reputation system, which is what they described in the TWAB, where I mean, it seems like you'll be getting rewarded regardless, if you are doing amazingly well. I think it'd get more people playing, and I think that's the big thing. I think when more people play, like, it'll be a lot more of a bearable experience, where you're not just getting stomped by the same team maybe 3 times in a card potentially.
Yeah, I think I speak for all of us when I say that Destiny 2 is at its best when the player pool is high, and in certain things, like when you have matchmaking, modes like trials. Like the Crucible, of course, everything is matchmaking in the Crucible unless you go play Rumble or whatever. Everything just feels better and plays better when the player pool is high. You have all these different loadouts and stuff that you see. So I certainly hope that seeing the anti-cheat, and it's going to be a soft launch, they said. So it's not going to be at its full, potential. Which is okay. I mean, but it's scaring people off, and that's good.
Is it soft launching next season?
No, it's soft launching on Tuesday. Yeah, so season 15 will have a soft launch of Battle Eye anti-cheat. Yeah, and and I hope that it starts getting this stuff, man. It's bad. And I've had to play scrims, and which is just more of a controlled environment with people that and your friends and stuff like that, because I can't stand going into trials and doing well, and then you hit that final game and you can't do anything about it.
I've played with you where I've seen what it can do to you, like off stream, like if you're playing competitive PvP with like not just inside of scrims, like it turns Maddox to a new level of anger.
I hate cheaters can go to jail, if you ask me.
Yes,
but,
send them all to jail. We always say that. Send them right to jail.
But I just think it's exciting to see the things that we've been talking about for so long start to come in fruition. You see all these words posted on Twitter, and Twitter's just a cesspool sometimes when it comes to things like that. But seeing the words from 6 months ago, they're like, okay, we see you, we know what's going on, we're listening, all that stuff. But that's always been a meme for Destiny. We're listening. Is now finally here. In 2 days, we're gonna have things like this start to come into effect. So I think that in itself is gonna bring more people into PvP, or bring them, I guess, kind of back, I guess you could say. I've always liked to see PvP flourish, and I think it can. And I confidently say this when I say that I think season 15 is gonna be the best PvP season we've had in a long time. I think since Forsaken. I don't know if you might agree with that, or if you have any thoughts of how PvP can be improved. I don't know.
No, I mean, I would agree. I mean, PvP has just been in a rough spot since, since the swap of BattleNet. Even before then, it was in a tough spot. It's been in a tough spot. Yeah, since probably, like you said, Forsaken, when everybody was really going after their Luna's Hells and their Not Forgottens. And I'd say at that point, because I think the other key to that, like, I think you might be onto something. And one of the reasons why I think that Crucible was in a little bit better of a position back in Forsaken, because obviously it didn't have trials at that time. There was no trials, but it was still in a decent spot. And that's because they used to take a lot better care of the competitive playlist. And the competitive playlist is needing a little bit of love. Like, it's very
to say the
dated
least
at this point, where right now, like, outside of getting your Unbroken, which I feel like the majority of people who want their Unbrokens have it at this point, and then obviously the weapons that most of them now are behind the kiosk. I mean, the ones that you used to be able to grind, like Not Forgotten, I think is now in the. Is that still?
Yeah,
all
that stuff's in there.
Yeah, all of them are in the kiosk, and we're not really getting like we don't have a new 5500 weapon anymore. Like, we obviously the ritual weapon, it's not really a pinnacle weapon anymore. Like, there's just like there was a time where there was an amazing weapon at 2100, and then you had an amazing weapon at 5500. And I thought they were onto something. I think if they built that with more armor sets and maybe some ornaments and other things, like, comp was in a pretty decent spot, and I just feel like now it's just feels to me like a level up system, like where we go in on opening day to get our levels, because we get levels on sub rank ups. So we play it so that we can level up our characters to get raid ready or to get whatever, and then no one ever touches it anymore.
Yeah, I think this is like the first season I've actually haven't even touched comp very much at all.
I haven't touched it, and one of the reasons for PvE people at least is because they lowered the power grind where it's
right.
only,
Yeah, as I say, I only needed 10 points or whatever,
Exactly.
10 things this season, so there was no point.
Exactly. Yep. And so I want them to give that playlist love, because I like comp, but it's like, why would I play it, especially when there's only a 10 level boost?
It's the incentive. I think you hit it on the head. There's no incentive to play it. There's no gun. There's no mountaintop at 2100. There's no recluse at 2100 anymore. Stuff like that. There's no Not Forgotten or Luna's Howl. In the mix. There's nothing to play it for other than just the satisfaction of getting. Yep. Wins in a high rank or whatever, or you're unbroken.
Because completely
unbroken.
What were you gonna say, Luke?
I was gonna say I would do anything to get it back to where we were playing competitive to get broken weapons, like just godly weapons.
That was exactly what
even
I was
if
gonna
they
say.
fix
Your
them each
skill paid off.
Yeah, even if they have to fix it the next season, I don't care. Like, just let me want to grind. That's the only reason. Like, other than Unbroken, like I was playing to get Mountaintop, I was playing to get Recluse, I was playing to get Not Forgotten.
Exactly.
And then
you'd see in PvE those things mow and shred, and then you'd be like, how do I get that? Or new players would probably be like, how do I get that? It's like, oh, you need to get 2100. So people are grinding their butts off to get 2100 to go use Recluse, which, I mean, became one of the best weapons in all time in D2.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And same thing with Mountaintop.
And those lobbies were a lot more fun when there was a lot of different kinds of people in there playing. It wasn't just like people. Right now, like, there's not really any reasons. Now it's just like people flexing, like either they're cheating or they're just the best in the game, because there's only like
just playing it to play it.
I think we played once and there was like 25 teams in the entire that were playing comp one day.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's in a weird spot.
And that right there shows how bad the matchmaking is as well too. Is when there's a higher play pool, you start matching people that are at your skill level.
Yeah.
That are at your same score level. Like if you're sitting in the 2000s, you're matching other people that are in that vicinity. Or matching one person and then having those, skill balanced, fire team balancing as well too, where you might have someone that's a little bit lower, but you're a little bit higher, and then same on the other team. And I think it was the best. If you ask me around like Forsaken, like we always go back to Forsaken, of course. Is that right there showed how great comp can be. You had people that would go in simply just for those weapons. People would do helps and carries simply just for those weapons because of how good they were. Yeah. Like you were saying, I don't give a crap if they're nerfed a little bit down the road, but like right now, like that's getting 200% more people in that game mode in itself, and you already have trials and stuff like that on the side. But during the week, what do you play? You're gonna go play quick play and just get GL'd the whole time? No. Yeah. I want to go play comp. I want to get my Recluse and stuff like that, or whatever it might be, a new weapon or something like that. And how long has it been? How long has it been since there's been something like that? I mean, it's got to be like 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's whatever that season was when they're like, we're doing away with pinnacle weapons. They're too good, which was like around the same time they're like, we're gonna do sunsetting. So now that sunsetting's gone, maybe they're gonna go backwards on that, back to like the let's make you feel like powerful gods again, because that's when we have the most fun. I mean, it's harder to balance the sandbox, but like then you got us all complaining about like there's 2 things, like we just said, there's 2 things that makes PvP competitive better. One is incentive with weapons, like give us godly weapons, or 2, give us some sort of ranking system that you can physically see above your head that makes you look like, just like I don't play Apex, but I always see people talking about going to get like diamond,
being plat or diamond,
whatever it's called.
Diamond is what you usually will hear.
Yeah, something like that's over your head, where it's like platinum, crucible. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I do the unbroken gilded just so I can have a 2 next to the thing. Basically, like that gets me into that will get me into comp every season. But
that gets you, but it won't get a lot of players into it. But I just can't imagine if like we had the weapon structure the way they had it before. Maybe if they had, like, let's say when you hit 1,000 you get boots, and then 2,000 you get arms, and if like 3,000 you get a chest, and like 4,000 like a helmet, and then maybe 5,000 a class time, and you have this beautiful set too that people can grind out. Maybe you hit your 5,500, they give you an ornament set for all of it. Just like just like sometimes it's not like like they don't really need to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes
No.
you can kind of see some of the things that worked before, and it really will get people in. If you have stuff that looks good or weapons that feel good, I mean, people will play certain things. But if there's no reason to play it, then I mean, it doesn't really matter how good the Crucible feels. I mean, I still probably am not going to be in comp.
Yeah, I think the only matchmaking Crucible that I've done other than Trials has just been Iron Banner. And I think Iron Banner's getting a little bit of love this past a few TWABs ago. They had the full new Iron Banner set coming out.
Yeah.
And however, the more of those pieces that you have on, you have a higher chance of getting like an enhancement
Drops,
prism,
right?
I believe. Yeah,
I saw that.
So
Yeah.
imagine if there's something that they incorporate like that in a just regular comp. You have your comp set ready to go, and guess what? If you have 5 pieces on, you get maybe 50% more reputation when on your win or something like that. You know, you get 10% per piece of armor you have on. Imagine that. You go through and you get all those, or you get a higher chance of getting the, you know, a certain weapon drop or stuff like that, or more Crucible tokens, which I think they're going away with recently or pretty soon as well too. I would like to see something like that incorporated, because I mean, we all know that Destiny has all these full sets of armor, but there's no point in wearing, you know, any of them on the same character, because they just don't give you any, you know, added bonus other than just looking nice together, I guess.
Yeah.
But imagine having those different sets. You're gonna have your Iron Banner set now because they work so well together, and then you have your raid set, that like the Vaulted Glass raid set. You have all that stuff, but there's nothing for Crucible that gives you that added boost for what you're doing in Crucible. You know, I'd like to see something like that incorporated, because I know I would have my I don't have any other set that other than my Crucible set. And guess what? When I'm ready to play PvE, I just turn that set into my PvE set because it's just so easy. But being able to have that, okay, I'm going into comp, click this button on dim, boom, there's my comp stuff. It's the whole set of Crucible armor that I grinded for. That's now going to give me, you know, maybe even if it's something in game as well too, like you get a kill, every kill you get increased reload speed or something like that, or something where you have some type of performance boost as well too. Would be interesting. I don't know if your thoughts are on that. Like the Iron Banner set, like I was saying, is coming out. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I did last week, but I basically said the same thing. Like it just got me. I don't really care that much about what it specifically does for Iron Banner. It gets me more excited for the future of what weapon. Like
exactly,
it's like, it's like there was Armor 2.0, and this maybe starts what maybe Armor 3.0
2.1
or
yeah,
2.1 or whatever. Like just like things that continue to make it so you can keep building different builds. Like now we can have builds, but let's see what's the next step of builds. Like doing specific builds that also get you specific things inside of each activity, but also help you with like but this all also turned into that big conversation last week about I also wish that dim was inside of the game so that I could have builds saved so that I could click a button and then it changed, because I know it's built into dim that you can like have a build and then click a button and it should bring all the stuff, but it always messes up for me for some reason, so it never works properly. But yeah, it just excites me with the idea of what it could be. I don't, like I said, like I don't really play Iron Banner that much. Like sometimes do, but it doesn't. Unless they're changing it where I'm gonna get a lot more Iron Banner weapons just from playing Iron Banner, then I don't know.
Yeah. Just to go over a few things from the recent TWAB, because we haven't spoke about just a few things about it. One, Anarchy's getting nerfed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're upset about that. But
I am.
I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. I think it's gonna be a really strong weapon.
Still gonna be good.
With Anarchy, I think it says here that they are taking 10 Anarchy shots away from you, so you have a total of 16 instead of 26, and it's reduced the boss damage by 30%. But it says here that champions are not bosses, and that's huge because Anarchy is massive when it comes to champions. So that's something huge. Xenophage is getting touched, a little bit of RPM differences, and it's getting a little bit of a damage. A little bit of a damage calculating as well too. Yeah, it says a little bit of a buff.
Slight buff.
But here's the big one that I think a lot of people might have commented on, and that's Vex Mythoclast. We all know when it dropped, it was very lackluster. But just let me run down the whole paragraph real quick of what they're doing to Vex Mythoclast, okay? Increasing PvE damage by 40%. Range stat increase to be near best in class for high impact auto rifles. So its range is gonna be massive. Increased stability, rework catalyst to grant stability and damage after kill, increase the fire rate, reduce linear fusion rifle mode charge time by almost 300. and no longer loses the stacks of your charges with whoa, like that is a massive change. You get a buff in your stability and your range, PvE bonus as well too. And I think as we saw, you have the champion mods coming out with linear fusions and fusions. So that's going to be massive. That seems like a lot of people are going to be trying to go get Vex now before the season starts. Once they saw that. Jotun's getting a change. Big thing here. Thank God Bastion is getting nerfed as well too.
Yes.
That is huge. And a couple changes to some damage perks as well too. But another thing here, and I don't know if this is going to have any effect in as I might think it has, but infinite primary ammo. I don't know if that's something that you've always thought about, CB, but like that's going to be massive. That means you always have like your little SMG ready to go. You know, you're never going to have to run out of like any type of like maybe ad clearing or anything like that. But I think it's also going to make primaries a little bit more substantial whenever you're playing GMs and raids and stuff like that. And because some people run like double special, like a sniper and a GL of some sort. I've seen that. But I think you're almost always going to have a primary in your slot now. And there's no reason not to. You're always going to have ammo. So you think that's going to be a big change in the way PvE stuff is ran in your sense?
Yeah, it will. I mean, I definitely have had times where, you know, especially in the slower type, like, not gonna say slower, but more like pieces of content where you gotta be extra careful, like GMs and stuff, where, you know, you end up running out of primary, and it can be, I guess, a little bit of a nuisance. I think it'll be cool. I mean, I think that that hopefully lowering Anarchy a little bit will give players incentive to use some other, like, maybe primary exotics maybe at some point again too, maybe especially with some of these new, like with some of the champion mods. Like, I'm hoping to hopefully see some different items in people's inventories potentially. And maybe with the primary change, maybe that might help with that maybe a little bit. I think we're gonna have to see it play out, to be honest. The one thing I'm curious though on is, remember when you would end up like clearing out all of your primary ammo and you'd be out of special and heavy so that you could get special again?
Mercy
I was
ammo.
honestly kind of curious. So what
that.
the thing that I was more curious on is if mercy ammo is now gone forever because you can't clear out your mag. So it might actually make things harder. I didn't think about that until I was like laying down in my bed one day and I was like, like, cause I don't know what I was like rereading the TWAB or something, and I thought about like what happens if you're trying to clear out your mag, like can you get special back? And I'm thinking probably no. Probably this is your ammo probably now.
That's something I never thought about.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so it honestly
how that'll work.
Make things harder slightly, because a lot of times I remember in
wonder if that's the reason why they did that.
Yeah, I would just clear out my ammo. Like, I used to just clear out literally everything, and then, you know, you get like 5 sniper shots back, or, you know, or you get like 5 GLs back or something. You get something back, right? That might be out the window.
I'm curious if that's the reason why that was even thought of, is people are like, okay, hey, we can make this a little bit difficult on them, you know, just give them primary ammo is infinite and they can never get their special back again.
So that was more my like thoughts. I know definitely a different spin on that, but definitely I think it could be why, potentially.
Interesting. And then another thing to make PvE hard is they're removing the quick swap glitch. That's going to be massive. You can no longer double. I mean, you could still double slug. I feel like that's still going to be a really popular thing when it comes to damage, but you can't hot swap, of course. That's gonna suck, because I actually practiced this whole season and got really good at it, and now they're taking it away from me. So.
I just started learning how to do it on a controller properly, because I was just like pressing Y, hit shoot, Y, shoot. It's slower, but there's a way to do it, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So here's a question from chat here as well too. This is actually gonna not only lead us into the final conversation as well too about Witch Queen, but he says, do you guys think people are expecting too much in the reveal? I'll have your thoughts on that.
Yes, everyone's always.
I think that, yeah, just in general, I feel like, I mean, and it's not always a bad thing, but it definitely, like, it does sometimes set us up for getting our, like, I'd say our hopes down, like, you know, really, like, expecting, like, you know, like everything to always, you know, be a complete home run, Forsaken, Taken King type thing. But I think, you know, that's part of the fun, partially. So I think as long as you like understand that, like, you know, Bungie doesn't have Activision anymore, that like the times are slightly different, then I think it's okay to be excited. But I think that that's just natural. I don't know. I think yes is the
Just how
answer,
Bungie-
but I don't think that it's like per se an issue. I like seeing people get excited. Like, is it unfortunate if it means that people get their hopes up sometimes? Yeah, but I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't know.
Here's a little bit more of a kind of a targeted question. Do you
Yeah.
think, would you rather see more in this trailer or less? Do you want to still leave more information on the table? Like, you want to have a lot of questions after this, or do you want to be like, oh, okay. Like, do you like to see them reveal more or kind of hold back, I guess is my question.
A nice medium, I think, is okay. Like, I think honestly, one thing that I personally think they did pretty well on was the last year's Beyond Light one. Because I
that
felt
one was
like
fantastic.
They did a great job. Like, they showed some stasis stuff, so we saw that obviously ice was coming, and we saw a little bit of Aramis, and we saw that we were going to Europa. Those are three big pillars that were like, whoa, that's like a new subclass, new place, and new story, like blah 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 blah. Like, that was
New
really
gun
cool.
or something like that thrown in there as well too.
And then we got a word on Vault of Glass, which was like a whole new like D1 rate coming or D1 rate coming back into D2, like a whole new thing that they've never done before. And then they even gave us the names of all the DLCs in the future too, because they told us which queen was coming.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yep, and they said that Lightfall was coming, because we've known about Lightfall since that day when they brought it up. So personally, I thought they had a pretty good template. Like, I thought of showing a little bit of the future, showing what's to come, and then showing what's kind of coming midway through like the year of the next content cycle. Because if you think about it, like, we're enjoying Vault of Glass this season, and I guess the season started in June, I think. But obviously they had showed us that back in the Beyond Light trailer. So I think they did a really good job of showing what was coming in the DLC, what was coming a little bit after, and what was coming in the far future.
What to expect? Yeah.
I thought they had a good template.
I would like to see
want
something
that.
like that as well.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Like, give us like a. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm hoping it's just like a really well put together. Like, remember they used to be like live streams that they did, and they would like talk about.
Yes. Yeah.
And those were cool, but I really enjoyed like what you were talking about, CB, the really nicely put together pre-recorded, like video where it's like showing everything piece by piece, and it was like really nicely put together. I really hope that's what what Tuesday is. Just like a really clean cut, good presentation that is going to be really nice. I have my expectations really low, because I used to get them up really high, and then it would be like, oh dang, it was like a trailer, and then they talked for 30 minutes. I'm kind of just in the, like, if they surprise me on Tuesday, I'll be hyped, but I'm kind of just expecting it to just be just like a little bit of reveal, because they're just revealing it, that there's probably going to be more stuff planned for the next 6 months of them kind of like slowly, if they want to advertise it properly, slowly leaking out all the information that they want us at the right times to know about, to get us excited and hyped, where we're not they don't want us to be too hyped right now. I mean, that's 6 months or more away from this coming out.
Exactly,
if we're like too hyped, we're gonna be it's just gonna like simmer down really fast, and I don't want to get too hyped. But like you said, I got really hyped for Lightfall whenever they like announced that, so I'm still excited about that. So I'll be excited no matter what on Tuesday. My expectations are really low, and I always make them low. I've talked about that on the podcast. My expectations are always low, so that if it's really dope, then I'll be really, really happy, because I'm also not going to be able to watch it live, which I'm really sad about. So I'm trying to, I'm just going to keep I mean, maybe we'll like cut the shoot right at noon for like a break or whatever time it is, and be like, hey guys, you guys take a lunch break, I gotta go watch a live stream about a video game. I know you're paying us for this like big shoot, but just kidding. But what were you saying, Maddox, before I start talking?
I would like to just see like the template you're talking about, like the location, if there's any new subclasses or anything like that coming in. I don't expect that, of course. Oh, well, with Witch Queen I do. Maybe a new subclass of some sort, some type of new power. Just the big things that are like that are Destiny: the weapons, the armor, the subclasses, the supers, the locations, different things like that. The enemies, if there's going to be anything new enemies, like we'll see those things, and that's all I care about. What is going to be what I'm going to see? The first thing I'm going to see when I load into Witch Queen, I just want to kind of see like a little glimpse, and I'm happy. Like I said, it's 6 months. We still have 6 months to be happy, you know. So I'm still kind of living in the now than I am, you know, that time. So again, this is the Witch Queen reveal, which is going to be in January, February. So we still have a long time to wait. I'm okay if they kind of hold back a little bit here and there and just kind of give us a little snippet. But we'll see. We'll see. Speaking again of Witch Queen, this would be our like final little ramble on about this is what do you expect from Witch Queen? We were talking about earlier, like you wanted to wait if there's gonna be banger, you wanted to wait for the dungeon if that's gonna be the case, a raid. Like what do you want? What are you expecting, or maybe even predicting of Witch Queen with this storyline? You know, things that Bungie might be incorporating in the new season or in that new DLC.
So expecting a really good story, like, and the only reason, like it's not like I wasn't expecting a really good story in, let's say, something like a Shadow Keep or something like a Beyond Light, but Savathun's a name I've been hearing since D1.
Yes,
Like,
and that's what we talked about.
Like,
yeah,
there's certain characters that you just can't do wrong. Like Savathun is one of them. Oryx was another. Like we were hearing, like I remember Vanilla Destiny 1, there were some story missions that were talking about Oryx and not even know, like, who is this Taken King that they brought up. Like I don't even know who they're talking about. And this was, you know, before we even fought Crota. Savathun's one we've been hearing since like 2014, 15 type. Like, so the story has to be on point for me. Like that's one thing, like if not anything else, like they need to do Savathun right. Like we've been building up all of this. Like I really want a banger story for Savathun. Like, or else I'll be sad for her. She just deserves it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Savathun deserves it the same way Oryx deserved it. That's one. Obviously, a raid that does her justice as well. Like just the way that I feel like, you know, Taken King did Oryx justice. I'll expect the dungeon if we don't get one in this season. I'm kind of managed expectations on the dungeon. I think if it comes this season, then I won't be expecting it in Witch Queen, or vice versa. If we don't get one in Season of the Lost, then I'll be expecting a dungeon, just like, you know, Forsaken. And then outside of that, like I'm expecting hopefully some more life in the Crucible, so hopefully some maps. And new weapons, and just I want them to really make sure they do Crucible right for the new season, because you get all the eyeballs on the season when the expansion comes, then people start leaving. So you really want to show Crucible in the best light when we have the maximum amount of players that are going to be playing.
That's true.
So really want Crucible to be in a much better spot. And then outside of, you know, all the other like seasonal stuff that they'll bring, I mean, I'm really hoping that they sprucing up some of the other aspects of the game. Like I feel like one of the things I've always been begging for is like them to bring up the quality of life in strikes. So things like strike loot, like when we used to have things like Cloak Titanics, like the Scion Flare stuff, like Ala Cool's helmet, all the things to make people just play strikes. Like I feel like outside of Pinnacles, I don't want to play strikes, and it's so sad because strikes were one of my favorite things in Destiny 1, but there's just no reason to play them if you're not doing Nightfalls. Same thing with comp. We already had a long spiel about how we want to revamp comp. I just want to see some of these core activities really get some love again and have that flair where we can play them, because the base game modes are a lot of times what keep people playing. Like, you know, the content ends, but people are still playing things like Rift, or, you know, the content ends, but people are still grinding strikes for strike loot. Like, you know, so I just want the game to be healthier. So I think those are the things that I'm expecting. Raid, dungeon, new cool weapons, amazing story for Savathun, give Crucible some more life, and then just sprucing up the quality of some of our core activities.
Heck yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. So
I'm so hyped.
I'm really just hoping that Witch Queen is that like banger that we're all hoping it can be, you know, and that it will be. So
same.
I agree with you.
It's gonna be awesome. I hope the music. I was just thinking about this as you guys were talking, because like one of the things that got me really excited about Taken King when it came out was the music, like how it's like,
oh yes,
so good.
It was just eerie, and like I hope they like take what it was and maybe like don't have to change it completely, but kind of like tweak whatever Taken King music was, so we can kind of get that vibe still.
Mysterious.
I'm excited to hear it, because obviously they're gonna have that music playing probably on Tuesday. So like if that just all I want to do is like I want to take the Taken King, the way I felt from that, the way that it made me feel as a game, and I don't need it to be like the exact same thing, but if that I haven't ever felt that way ever again after for any other game ever. I want to
that was
feel
a
that
crazy period.
I want to feel that way again this winter whenever it's my off season and I'm actually going to have loads of time to play this game whenever hopefully the best part of it comes, but we'll see. I mean, I have my hopes a little high. So which is
Taken King was a legendary time.
Yes.
No, I hear you on that. I think one other thing I'm expecting too, or if it doesn't happen, it's fine. But I mean, now that they kind of showed us what they can do with Vault of Glass, I'm not expecting it right when Witch Queen comes out. But I'm guessing that we'll see something return within the year cycle of Witch Queen. Whether that means Crota back as a dungeon, or whether that means bringing back King's Fall while we have Savathûn, or whatever they decide to do. I could see something returning maybe around a similar time frame as we're getting Vault of Glass right now, maybe for the next year.
I was thinking that as well too. I feel like they almost have to put in some type of Legends thing, they talked about. So I'm curious if they might let us know when the next one's coming out.
That'd be cool.
On the 24th.
Really cool.
Like, hey, expect
Crota.
King's Fall.
King's
Fall,
Yeah,
Crota,
we got
something like
King's
that.
Fall. Oh my gosh.
Dude, oh my God, don't even
Give it to
that'd
us.
be-
started.
It'd just be insane. Oh my
Don't
gosh.
even get me started, but
And if they
Yeah.
give it to us, we better get the exotic from it. But it's gonna be weird because
Touch a mouse.
because it was like a big giant. It was hard to get. Like it was like a big
You're
quest.
bringing up an amazing point that I don't want to drag it, but remember when we were talking about Vex Mythoclast, and like this was a great topic. I meant to bring it up when you were talking about how it's getting buffed, and I'm happy that it's getting buffed. Because funny, a lot of people always were asking me, do I want Touch of Malice to return? And Touch of Malice is one of my favorite weapons in D1. Well, probably is my favorite weapon. Like top 2, definitely. Like I love Touch of Malice. It's one of the only guns I use. I love it. But people would ask, do you want it to come back in D2? And I'd always say no, because especially after seeing how Vex Mythoclast came into the game originally in Vault, and it being really like a shell of what Vex Mythoclast was in D1, I was like, no, keep it in D1. Like I don't want it to be a shell of itself in D2, where people are getting it and it's just collecting spider webs in everybody's vaults. So my original opinion was like, save Touch of Malice in my memory so I can always remember it for what it was. But now that they're buffing Vex Mythoclast, like if they could do right by Vex Mythoclast, then I think I wouldn't be as opposed to something like a Touch returning. But if they're gonna make it bad, then I don't want to see it.
Yeah, it needs to be good because it was like vital.
I don't want to see it this bad.
It was like touch was vital until I can't remember. There was like a nerf at the end of D1, but it was vital for finishing King's Fall for a while, well, making it easier, where everyone had one, and they're just like, I can't remember what the technique was, but it was like there would be like a bubble and then something else. So you like
it would be you pop the bubble and you kind of weave back and out to kill all the ogres when you go around in the circle and get all the ogres dead in King's Fall. It was such a good weapon.
The little aura for the witches, the sisters, you wouldn't take any damage.
Yep, that too.
You didn't take damage, so you
you
can
just
continuously
annihilate
shoot.
them with them.
Get that last bullet and you do 2 times the damage. Yeah, it's
I loved it.
just spam that. It was easier to kill them and to stun orcs because one of the guys got the bubble as well too. So
so if it comes back in that form, bring it back. But if it's gonna be the way Vex came back in June, save it and just let me
now what if they
memory of it.
now hear me out. We get King's Fall and we get the Touch of Malice, but Touch of Malice is one of those secret like 0 hour type thing.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Oh yeah, no, that would definitely be cool.
I would love that. I would love to also go around and get all the 45 calcified fragments. I'm just saying.
That was a lot of fun.
That was tons of fun. So
Yeah.
well, awesome, dude. That was a great conversation. I appreciate you being here, my friend.
Yeah, no, for sure. Time.
Luke's
flew.
already getting up
I
and
didn't even
leaving,
realize
so.
that it was 11:30.
Neither did I.
We talked for an hour and a half. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine, dude. We
running my mouth
just
too
kind of
much.
let it go and
Yeah.
Huey wanted
have fun doing it.
Huey wanted to be on the podcast.
old doggo.
Aw.
Well, we appreciate you being here,
Yeah,
brother. And
seriously.
again, if you just let us know, let everybody else that's listening that again may not know who you are, or they better let them know where you are, where we can find you, what you're doing. If you have any like a YouTube video you're working on, you wanna promo, feel free, brother.
Mainly, I just say for. I'll always be in the same place. I'll be at YouTube, Cbgray, Cbgray, Twitch, same thing. Stream on both. We'll, once the new season starts, we'll be back to streaming 7 days a week after I'm off work every day. So we'll be back on it. So I'm excited for that. But more importantly, to anybody who's here that that's new for the first time, please make sure to follow the Destiny nerds everywhere as well, y'all, because they're amazing. Appreciate
Thank you,
them
bruh.
for inviting me and bringing me on. And it's been a really, really good talk, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all do more amazing things. You said this was episode number 32? You said,
32,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I did hear that right. I did, yeah. So that's a lot of episodes, and it just goes to show, how well y'all are doing. So anybody who's never checked them out before, that's here for the first time because you're here hanging out with your boy, please make sure to show them some love, y'all. It would mean the world to me.
Thank you,
I'm
bro.
gonna refresh here.
We hit 500 followers while we were on this live,
Let's
by the
go.
way.
We
which is
did,
huge.
dude.
So
Awesome.
congrats.
Hell yeah.
Let's
Thanks.
done that. Congrats to y'all. That's awesome. I mean, I know that it takes a lot of grind, I'm sure, to be in coordination and commitment to, bring new people on every single week and to stay on top of all this and then stay on top of all the jobs and then also try to do individual streaming as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
we appreciate this.
yeah,
We appreciate
I
the
get it.
respect, my friend.
Yeah, man, that means a lot. Thanks for saying that. No one's ever
Yeah.
said that on here. That's super kind of you.
Of course not. I'd rather, I appreciate y'all, trying to put me in the light, but this is amazing what y'all are doing. So that's
thank
what I think deserves the attention.
Thanks, dude. Well, it won't be your last time on because we always want to have our guests come back. Especially
Yeah,
you.
no,
You were,
sure,
you were
sure.
special to have on here. It was nice talking to you and getting to know
Oh
you.
yeah, no,
and
it was a very, very
hearing
good
your
talk.
story.
I enjoyed it. It says now talk about some havoc. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
That is where I'm headed.
Yes.
Because the sad thing is, this is the funny thing too, is that I don't want to drag it much longer. But like in terms of, I'll work and then I'll go the whole day and just and you guys will get it when you work. Sometimes you just get so locked in and you just forget and the day just ends. You haven't eaten or something, right? Or just you
Yes.
haven't done and then I'll start streaming and then after I'm done with all the streaming, it's 2 a.m. or it's 11:48 p.m. or whatever it is. And the only thing that's ever open by me is Taco Bell. So my options are just usually very limited.
Understood.
Between that or I guess
You're
maybe
talking
I-
my language, bro. And I mean, that's like my love language is Taco Bell at 2 a.m.
Yup. It's mine too.
I haven't got to do 2 a.m. Taco Bell since college. Now I've been married for 6 years, so I can't just leave at 2 a.m. because Allie'd probably be like, "What the heck you doing?" But
Yeah.
just going to
Yeah,
Taco
no,
Bell.
whoever my wife is will just have to know that'll be an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
Like, where's he?
That'll have to be in your personal vows. I vow to go to Taco Bell at
Don't
2
ask
a.m.
questions when I leave at 2 a.m.
Oh man, wait, but how long ago was college though for you? How old are you guys?
I'm
I don't
20.
think I got to ask.
Yeah, I'm 28. I'll be 29 in
28,
December.
okay.
So I graduated college in 2014.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll be 25 in 3 weeks, so I
Nice.
graduated my nursing in 2017. So
Nice, happy early birthday. I also
Thank you.
graduated in 2017 as well. I'll be 27 in a few months.
Heck yes. We're all similar in
see it.
age. I'll be 30
Yeah,
next
we
year.
are.
And it makes me feel like an old fart, but I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I was even thinking that about 27, but yeah, you're a little closer, so I guess I got no room to be complaining.
dude, I'm feeling that at 20, about to hit 25.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, my car insurance is about to be lower.
Yeah.
I've hit that stage in my life.
You
that I
got
care
one
about
more
that type
year
of
of
stuff.
health insurance from your parents, right? Is that
Yeah,
26?
it was funny. My 26th birthday, because I was still my parents, because my company had good insurance. My mom's insurance, she had been there with her company for a while, so it was similar price. I was just paying her instead of paying my company's insurance, just so I wouldn't have to switch. And then on my 26th birthday, I got a letter on the day. I thought it was a birthday letter. And it said, your insurance is terminated November 30th. My birthday's in November. It's like, make sure you it's like November 30th,
Not in the
insurance
heart.
terminated. I was like, well, let me go ahead and I guess go talk
Start
to my
putting
company
in.
about,
yeah.
about
Oh, I've
getting
been
that all set up.
I've been living on the edge since I turned 26. I have not had any insurance since then. So
Oh my god, it's terrifying.
it's expensive. All right, I don't have benefits at my
Especially
job.
I'm in
getting
medical
sick,
field, my friend.
That probably would have been. I'm sure that was scary while you were sick then just now.
I got a lot of faith in God, so it hooked me up. That's my health insurance.
Yeah,
My-
he always.
Oh
makes a way.
goodness,
That's
go see
my-
the doctor.
that-
Goes and prays.
I'm praying to the doctor, please don't be more than $500. But
my goodness.
Havoc did remind me in chat, and I didn't join the clan. I forgot to join, so I ask this question every single week. CB, it's just like a meme at this point. But what clan are you in Destiny?
So 2 different things at the same time that I got going on. So when I started my content creation back in 2016, I started my my clan that's called Grey Guardians. And I just wanted to be a clan that anybody could join. And that started off with just the 1 clan that I had. Now it's 7. 3 PS4, 2 Xbox, 1
Whoa.
PC, and then 1 multi-clan. So we have about like roughly like about 700 people on that front. So like, cause that's just from every day we did help streams for about 3 years straight. And just anybody who wants to join could always join any of the clans. So that's that. And then also I joined Primal. I think my 1 year anniversary should be.
Oh yeah, I knew
yeah,
that.
Remember that?
Yeah. So I joined Primal. I think it was. I think my 1 year anniversary is coming up this month. Yeah, sometime in August. I think I joined Primal last year. So that was really awesome too. So like the guys like Frost and ZK and Pure and like there's like a lot of my really really good friends. Like actually even like Pure Chill. We went to middle school together.
Oh wow.
So
that's
small
awesome.
world. Yeah,
That's
small world.
amazing.
So we get dinner together over here in Virginia. But so those are the two things that I'm a part of in terms of clans.
That's amazing. So I ask every week. I'm clanless. So can I join? I always ask every guest. Can I join all 7 of your clans and Primal at the same time?
In terms of all 7 of the clans, if you can make that happen for sure. In terms of the Primal thing, I have no control over it.
I'm just kidding. I just have,
You can join it.
I have to keep asking until I join a clan. So I think
Dude, until someone gives you a clan invite
Until
on
I get it-
stream,
yeah,
it's-
until-
you have to keep asking.
I could give you an invite on stream right now. Like I would.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know what platform are you playing. Is it PC?
PC. Yeah. I'm just living the life.
We'll definitely have to get some games in though.
Yes, I'm
Like,
gonna add you
Absolutely.
on Steam after this. I've been trying to add everybody that we game with
For
or
sure.
that we talk to on here if I haven't already. So
Yeah, no doubt.
we'll make it happen. I'm so like for me if we're gonna talk about what we're doing real quick before we end.
ahead.
Wednesday, as of right now, if you're listening to this years from now, I'm probably huge, big massive stream. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be starting streaming again on Wednesday at I don't know what time yet. I'll let y'all know on Twitter. But I'm coming back, which I'm really excited about. We're settled in at this house. I have a space. I can sit and do this again. I'm almost caught up on edits for weddings, so I'm gonna start streaming at night again, at least 3 days a week. I'm really excited to start playing games again because I have really been inconsistent for 7 months of us like selling our house, living at my in-laws, and then buying this house. So I'm really excited about the
Yeah,
future.
congrats on the house.
Thanks, dude.
Exciting. Very exciting.
This story of getting this house was pretty cool, and I'm pumped about it. I'll have to tell you sometime after.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Maddox, what do you got going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just working, going to the gym, and just playing the games. I think normally around this time, because mainly being a PvP guy, I tend to just kind of take off from streaming during the big DLCs and the season drops and stuff like that, just to kind of help and enjoy it and not be stressed out and stuff whenever I'm streaming. And because the big guys always get the love when it comes to the big drops and such. So
Yeah,
I
like
always
this
just
dude
kind of
over here. Just kidding.
yeah, CB's gonna pop off.
He's
so.
got to take off work because it's a big day for him.
Yeah.
That's a work day.
I use all my PTO for work. That was actually that Florida trip, even though I don't know if that's under the realm of Destiny, but that was the first time I took PTO that wasn't vacation PTO in over 3 years. Like all my PTO just goes to Destiny streams.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I haven't been able to do that in a long time, unfortunately. But I mean, I'll probably have to get something like that going for Witch Queen. That's gonna be a
I
huge one.
always do it. I take a
Yeah,
whole
I'm
week
gonna have
off
to.
for
I'll
those.
take the whole week. Yeah, I got a whole week time.
I'm gonna have to do that. That's gonna be worth it. So, but yeah, other than that, I'm just hanging out, not really doing too much. Trying to work on some YouTube content, which I've been dying to do recently. So we'll see.
I'll be excited.
It's all hobby. So I'm a nurse first and content and streamer second. So I have to, if work calls in and that's my biggest priority at the moment. So
Nice.
Feel you, bro. Heck yeah.
other than that,
Nice.
Sweet.
we always like to at the end of the podcast, we always like to let podcast know and the viewers know who we have next week. And next
Yeah.
week we have nobody because we're taking the week off. so-
shoot. Yeah, we are taking next week off.
Nice. It's gonna be a fun week though. I hope
Yeah,
you guys get to enjoy the game.
We didn't want to stress anybody because we wanted someone like you. We were very happy you were here because we have such a huge reveal coming up, and you create the content on it, and seeing your side of how the content comes about, and then we just kind of take the week off after this and just let everybody enjoy their time.
Yeah.
So.
Every time we try to find someone, they're like, listen, like this is like big time for my content. I don't have time to like come be on a podcast. We're like, we get it. So we've decided to take a week off. But then after that, we can't tell you who the guest is because we don't know. But we
don't know
We
who it
will
is
know
yet.
this week. We have an idea, but it's
We do have
it's special. So we'll let y'all know soon.
Nice.
But CB, we appreciate you being here, my
Yeah,
friend.
dude,
It
it was
was
so
a
nice.
pleasure.
No problem. Yeah, no, I look forward to hopefully, if you ever have it back on, I look forward to being back.
yeah.
It was fun, and yeah, I mean, thank you for having me.
I can't wait to meet in person one day because it's gonna happen.
I'll be there next year, man. I'll be
Yes.
around. I'll be
Heck
around.
yes.
Looking forward to it.
Heck yeah. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening. Just to remind everyone that's listening or watching, you can listen to this anywhere podcasts happen, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever, tomorrow. And then also the VOD will be located on our YouTube channel. It's just the Destiny Nerds on YouTube. Check it out. So thankful that you're all listening and watching. We see it and we love it. And it just makes us full of joy that people enjoy this game as much as we do. So we love all of you. Thank you again, CB, for being here. Thanks, Maddox.
Sir.
Love both you
Of course.
guys. And we will see you all next time. Have a nice night, everyone. Bye.
Later.